Hi everyone, so this is future me. I've just jumped in here to tell you that I took all of this footage a year ago when I actually went to Fiji for my medical elective, and it was more just a collection of footage for keeping my memories somewhere and looking back on them. It wasn't ever intended to be informational or educational, but now that I'm going through all the footage, I want to put it somewhere that it can be of use to people. So whether you're planning a trip to Fiji or more specifically a medical elective to Fiji. Of course, there'll be loads of links down below in the description of the places we stayed and the things we did and any recommendations we have. So I hope you find it useful. Let me know if you use any of these tips to plan your own trips, and thanks for watching. So we landed in Nadi, which is the capital of Fiji, and from there we took a taxi to Lautoka, which is the second biggest city and where our elective was. The taxi journey was about an hour and it was a great first look at what Fiji looks like. We stayed in an Airbnb, which was about a mile away from the hospital. As you can see, it was beautiful. The family lived upstairs, and downstairs they had 3 big bedrooms and en-suites and a huge kitchen. It stayed empty for most of our stay there, so it was a really nice space to live in. And they had a really cute dog called Kong, who was adorable. Moving on to the hospital. Like I said, we lived about a mile away, so we used to walk. We had to be in for around 8 a.m, I think, so we were walking quite early on in the day, but we really underestimated how hot it got there. So now to take you inside the hospital. As you can see, it's quite busy. It's quite a large hospital, around 300 or so beds. I'm going to take you where we spent most of our time, which was in theatre. So here are the operating theatres. We did a surgical elective, and it was similar to the UK in that there was elective surgery and emergency surgery, but the equipment and the facilities were a lot more basic. One huge difference was the surgeons were operating pretty much head to toe, and it wasn't nearly as specialised as it is in the UK. That was super impressive to see, and we learnt a lot. When we were not at the hospital, we made sure to use any free time wisely and explore the rest of Fiji. We first headed back to the capital, Nadi, by taking a bus from Lautoka. There was a nice temple there, but not much else to do if I'm honest, so we broke into a 5-star hotel and enjoyed their private beach. By break in, I mean we just walked in, and no one seemed to ask any questions. We also headed to the local national park called Koroyanatu National Heritage Park. We were met by a guide when we got there, who ended up being this young girl who can't have been older than 12 or 13, but managed the whole hike barefoot while we struggled in our walking boots. Yep, as you can see, she was quite amused. Although it was a struggle in the heat, especially uphill, the 4 to 5 hour trek was completely worth it. Alright, so next up are the Yasawa Islands. These are a small group of islands off the western coast of Fiji, and this is where everyone goes for that classic Fiji experience of blue sea and coconuts and beaches and all that good stuff. So it can get really expensive. We found a cheaper way to do it, so we took this slightly dodgy ferry, which was quite rocky and took about 5 hours, but it was a lot cheaper than the planes and the big ferries that can take you there. We opted to stay on this small island at a homestay, so this family-run business, instead of one of the big resorts. It's sort of like an eco-lodge. It's all solar-powered, so no electricity after 6 p.m. There's a really beautiful beach we had all to ourselves. We also took a tour to the village on the island, which is where the family who own the eco-lodge are from, so had a really nice walk around.
We also went on a snorkeling trip, which was insane. This was just such a relaxing experience, and I really recommend checking out at least one of the islands. Moving on to my highlight of the trip, which was learning how to scuba dive. So we took a 3-hour bus from Lautoka to the south of Fiji to an area called the Coral Coast. We stayed in a hotel hostel called Beach House, which, regardless of your reason for going to Fiji, would be my top recommendation. It's in a great location, really nice staff, good food, good bar, and it has lots of activities on offer like yoga and surfing lessons, and was also the location of where we learnt how to dive. While we were there, we tried kava. This is a drink made out of powdered root of a pepper plant. It's really popular in Fiji, but actually banned in Europe. It apparently has some narcotic effects, which is always fun. For me, it just tasted and looked like dishwater. The company we learnt to dive with was called Coral Coast Divers. They were based at the hotel itself, which was really convenient because we could meet them at the hotel pool or the hotel beach and start diving. We almost finished our qualification, but unfortunately on the last day, it rained a lot. So disclaimer, Fiji is a tropical island, so it rains a lot. It may have stopped our diving play, but it didn't stop all our play, and we made the most of the situation. We came back the next weekend to finish our qualification, which I was more than happy about because I loved Beach House so much. That's our trip to Fiji in a nutshell. Thanks for watching.